Hey, what's up, Bubba Booies? Hang on a second. I got to load up everything else here. Hold on a second. Hello. Listen to the words that I'm saying. My name is Kenny Glick. My email address is kennyglick@aol.com. My website is hitthebid.com. Send me an email tonight. I will let you in for free for the schmooze. Hitthebid.com is my website. You should join right now. You'd be a member of my room already. You wouldn't have to have these conversations. But right now, I do 1 hour of free content on YouTube. So go to YouTube, look for @Hit the Bid Radio or Stock Market TV. I'm on 2 different channels, and you'll get an hour's worth of me right now for nothing. If you didn't know that, now you know that. So I'm Kenny Glick. The website is hitthebid.com. I also have a YouTube channel @Hit the Bid Radio. Kenny Glick, Hit the Bid is the website. Hit the Bid Radio is the YouTube channel. I'm Kenny Glick. My email address is kennyglick@aol.com. We've had 38 trades already today that made us money. I'm exaggerating. There's about 4 of them, but it was just as good as 38. I'll see you in the room. Is that clear enough? All right. What's up? All right. Let me get my face going, even though I don't look so hot right now. All right. If you are paying attention, we started a new streak today. We're 1 for 1. That trade that works 1,074 times in a row. By the way, that was just a random number. It's really about 700 in a row. We just threw it out there, and because it doesn't matter, is the point. I could say a trade has worked 1,000 times, 10,000 times in a row. If today was your first day in the chat room, you don't give a shit how many times it's worked in a row. I want to make money now, right? That's why track records. Oh, man, I haven't used that word yet today. Drink. I don't think I've used the word track record today. Oh, first time. All right. Well, if you had the under, you might have won today. Track record. Track record. Hello, folks. Can you see me? Can you see me? So today we're following up with the conversation that we had yesterday in the room. Kenny, as somebody said, why are you focusing on a short on a stock that you love in a bull market? And I said, because right now it's going down. And that stock is USAR. So let's have this conversation, and this conversation will last a good 15 or 20 minutes. So strap in. When I started buying stocks as a young buck back in 1987 and 88, I'd buy 100 shares, 200 shares of something. And even back then, I would sell it, and oh man, it would go up a little bit more. I never would buy it back because I figured, all right, buy low, sell high, right? I'd buy a stock, it'd go up, I make some money, talk about it with my dad, and my broker's name was, for Kenny Glick Trivia Night, you better know that Kenny Glick's first broker's name was Jan Grossman. What was the firm's name? Aaron Kranz King Nussbaum. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Who did they clear through? Gruntle. Who worked at Gruntle? Joe Patataglia. All right, just write those down for Kenny Glick Trivia Night. So I would call my broker, which was my dad's college roommate back in the day, and we'd laugh. Like, hey, man, how'd you pick that stock? I don't know. I'm like, I just read an article. Anyway, fast forward, stocks would go up after I would sell out of them. Oh, my God. And then when I started trading on the regular, wow, every stock I sold would go up after I sold it. I mean, it was a good problem, I guess, because I was selling for profits. Even when I didn't sell for a profit, stocks would always go up after I sold them. So when trading became more accessible and I became a trader, after being the worst stockbroker at the worst firm in the world, When I started trading, I had a portfolio of stocks, right? And the first, I would trade what I knew because I knew what these stocks were all about and I knew how they worked and I kind of knew their price action and I would just trade them, knowing that if I sold them out of my portfolio, they would only go up. So what I would do is I'd watch those 6 stocks that I owned. At the time, was it Cisco and CMGI or some incubator bullshit or whatever the hell it was, right? And then if I saw Cisco setting up as a short, I would short the stock as a day trade. I still own it over there in my account, but I'm just playing this momentarily, this moment of temporary weakness. Because if I would sell it out of my portfolio, it'd probably go back up the next day and I never buy it back. So I would just trade it at the moment. Fast forward 25 years later or 30 years later, I own USAR from last week when I said, stop what you're doing when this thing breaks 20 because it's going to 50. Look where it is now. My last 4 trades in the stock, 3 shorts yesterday, because the stock told us right here, bruh, we're weak today. What are you going to do about it? You going to sell it out of your portfolio? No, because I still think it's going to 50, even though it's having a momentary fart in the wind pullback. So you know what? I'll short it. And I usually short it with 5-fold. So I only have 200 shares and I shorted it with 1,000 shares. But that 1,000 shares I shorted, we got paid. And then we got paid some more. And then we got paid some more as it went back to the prior day VWAP to the penny. Yippee-ki-yay. We covered and we laughed. I just shorted a stock that I own. And now I'm not short anymore. And I'm back to owning it and buying it. And fast forward to this morning. As we were shorting Delta Airlines. What's up, everybody? Did you short the Delta Airlines? If you saw me on today's broadcast, we are starting a new streak. We are canceling the streak. We're officially at 1,079 in a row now, but officially we are 1 for 1. So Delta Airlines now, first earnings report of earnings season, did the trade that we wanted to see. I'll show it to you in a second. But more importantly, while I was shorting Delta Airlines, I was also shorting USAR because it set up. I'm going to play the fade because it's giving me this momentary moment. That's redundant, but a moment that it's showing me weakness. It's also showing me where it probably will go to using prior day VWAP. So that trade in itself was 29.89 short and covered roughly at 28 bucks. You know what that is? That's an $800 trade, home slice. And I only own 200 shares of this thing. But what we've also know is that shorting is short-lived and they're going to die. Not us. They're going to die. Because we know, right? And this is one of the greatest things about VWAP. We do finally know something. Nobody knows anything. It's a woozy, it's a wazi, it's a fugazi, it's a fugazi. Nobody knows if the stocks are going up, down, sideways. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about, right? But every once in a while, you do know. You do know when a stock breaks down and holds prior day VWAP. First of all, as a shorter, you got to know to cover some there. And then back above the VWAP, that short is not only over, but you better join the winning team. Cover and go long because the stock's still going to 50, even though we shorted it yesterday. Guy on TikTok, he was wondering, he's like, how the hell are you talking about shorting the stock? You just said it was going to 50. Yes, I do. I still think it's going to 50, but I shorted it yesterday, crushed it, shorted it today, made 300, 250 bucks on this little move, and then covered and went long. Got paid on the long trade. Oh, then it rolled over and I got stopped out.
Oh, but then it did that thing, the faux show under the VWAP, and you buy it back at 29 and you rip it to 31, and then it goes to 32.50 because stocks that break 30 go to 32.50. And now we're out of the day trade and we still own the 200 shares. So absolutely lighten it up with USAR, getting paid on the short, covering and going long for the day trade, and all at the same time, still swinging this bad boy, still think it's going to 50. And when it breaks 50, it's going to 80. And when it breaks 80, it's going to 120. So a year from now, by the way, Joe, are you here? A year from now, when this stock's at 120, remember this conversation. And by the way, here's another thing. If I'm wrong and this stock breaks $25, I'm selling it. All of it. You know what that's called right there? I just defined the trade, right? I'm in from $22.22. That's my cost average right now. $22.22. 2222. That's my cost average. The stock's at 32. I should be selling it right now. But I know if I sell those 200 shares, the stock will go up 38 points tomorrow. That's why I have to short it when it's pulling back. Because I can't sell it out of my portfolio. Because I know if I do, it'll go up 98 points the next day. So that's why I love shorting stocks that I own. You get it? The day trade is completely, you're just isolating a moment in time, just like the Q short. You know the Qs are going to 1,000, right? It's not a fucking debate anymore. Market's never going down ever again in our lifetime. Tuesday was new generational lows. Here he goes again. Here I go again. Because the passion and the anger that I'm showing right now is because shorting doesn't work. And I'm trying to make sure you understand that. You cannot short stocks for any extended period of time unless it's a pump and dump biotech stock. And even those, you wind up getting crushed. Think about the TTRX people that were short this thing yesterday and woke up with it up 70 points. Good luck. And then it gets crushed. Oh, but the Qs, right? I try to short this thing every day, and we shorted it twice. I got stopped out for a small loss, and then I got back in for a small gain, knowing that shorting is short-lived and I'm going to die. But today we actually got blue line to orange line, and then we got down here on. I was still short right here, thinking, hey, were we actually going to go down to 107.70? No. And I put a stop right there, and I sacrificed pretty much the whole trade to try to milk it. And once again, shorting is short-lived, and you're going to die. Right? So let's go back to Delta Airlines and the new streak that we just started. We're 1 for 1. Right? You guys watch me on the morning show? You guys watch me? You guys listen to the words that I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Why are we looking to short Delta Airlines today? Because we are negative on the airline sector? No. We know something about Delta Airlines? No. Did the stock report earnings? Yes. Is it gapped up? Yes. What do we do with gapped up stocks that have reported earnings? We assume that somebody out there was in the stock from 55 and 60, right? And we assume that there will be some profit taking, huh? You following me? On the name because of the gap. So it's just common sense. That's why this trade is so much fun. Now, stop what you're doing because you're about to ruin. That doesn't mean you're going to short the stock. So now you've got your idea. Okay, I'm thinking about shorting this Delta Airlines today. Man, I heard those numbers are pretty good, Kenny. I know. Well, okay, you're shorting the stock. It looks like it's going up in the pre-market. Yeah, I know. So when are you going to short the stock? Well, I'm going to short it when it breaks that blue line. Why? Because that's VWAP. And stocks that are gapped up, that break VWAP, quite often provide a winning trade. And we won. But it started to rally, and we were holding until it broke that little spot right there. And I was like, I ain't staying short no more. Got short here, made some money, covered some more here, and then I got stopped out. But then it rolled back over. I was like, oh, maybe I should short it again. Nah, I didn't do it. Oh, it's rolling over again. I didn't short it. Nah, I didn't do it. But then it went to the VWAP, to the penny right there, and then started to roll. Did I short it there? No, I was a little bit late, but I'd rather be late and right than early and wrong. So I waited for it to break down right there at $60.38, right? For a second, I was like, oh, here we go again, another loss on a short. But now that I got in, I got to give it the breathing room, which is the VWAP. I'm ready to risk 38 cents, and then it starts to roll, right? And that roll is the finger of God. So that confirmed that we were right about this trade. And then we had this lovely, lovely orange line, right? The lovely orange line that tells us, Kenny, wouldn't it be great if you knew where a stock was going to fall to? It would be great. Good thing we have that. It would be great. We have it. Ain't no scanner. Ain't no magic watch list. It's a magic algorithmic number that stocks ebb and flow to on a daily basis that I've been experimenting with for now 13 years. The shit works. So when you heard that number the other day at the seminar, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Nothing works 1,080 times in a row. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter if it worked 10 billion times in a row, as I was saying. If today was your first day, you would said to me, all right, tough guy, show it to me. Bang! There it is. First one. You had one to choose from today. Delta Airlines. Yeah, there's another one out there, Race, but I'm not getting anybody involved in this Race stock. It's too big. Not everybody could trade it. We ignored it. And by the way, if you are watching it, still hasn't done anything. But Delta fucking Airlines, baby. Blue line to orange line. Blue line, orange line. Blue line, orange line. So when you trade with us, we have our premise, our inkling, our default, our thought process, our idea, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And then you wait for the mighty, mighty VWAP to say, this time you're going to be right about it. Do it now. And do it now. And have limited risk because the pivot points are your outs. And you already know where the stock's probably going to go. So if you're shorting here at 61, or sorry, I shorted it at $60.38. I'm willing to risk 60 cents to possibly make what? The $1.30. Risk rewards in my favor. I got my target. And look at this wonderful trade, right? And if you were trading along with us and you did buy the options, right? We buy at the money options, right? And you were looking at the DAL 61s. Wasn't a monster trade, but monstrous enough. There's your foe. There's your show. There's your reason to buy them. You got paid. You got printed maybe 105. I think some of us got it 105, 110. Orange line. Let's just do simple math. Let's say you bought them at $1. Orange line was 80 cents. You know what that is, home slice? That's an 80% gain on this measly little tiny pullback. And then you sold some there, and then they went to 2. You sold some there, and then they went to 225, and maybe you sold some there. Inevitably, you got stopped out. Not a bad trade. Delta Airlines short, Delta Airlines puts, and then we went back to the USAR trade, which, my friends, if you know about USAR, then you must know about UU. UU is a combination of two of my favorite things right now. We got metals. Let's go. We got the metals, and it's a uranium stock. So it's nuclear and metal. And full disclosure, we sold half of our position today because we were in from 13 and change, thanks to Don Corleone. Got us in this name about a month ago, coming out of this downtrend. And if you guys know about this stock, Kardashian bottoms, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get involved until the breakout at around 1365. Sold 100 shares again. When I buy 200 shares, I never lose. If I would have bought 10,000 shares of the stock, they would have went out of business 2 weeks from now. But again, I'm in my happy place where I buy 200 share lots of stuff. I never lose money when I buy 200. And that's a real story. I buy 5,000 to start, something goes horribly wrong, like SRAT. Well, then again, SRAT, let's stop talking about my portfolio. Nobody cares. The point is, right? We came in today with one thing to do. I'm shorting Delta Airlines, right? And then we glanced over at the QQQ and we said, oh my God, are we actually going to sell off today? Well, you know what? I'll give it a shot because it tried to get over VWAP and didn't break over the VWAP. So I gave it a shot. Look where it went. Blue line to the orange line. I covered some there, and then I put a tight stop at 610, and it got me out. But then it rolled back over. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it another shot at 609.50. And then I looked at the 2-day VWAP, right? And I'm thinking, hey, maybe we're onto something. And then I reminded myself, what the hell am I talking about? Shorting a short, then I'm going to die. And I pretty much wound up getting out flat for a small gain. And now we're just chopping around. But that's our day. And they can't take the money from us now. We could quit right now and live our lives. And we could just be done. And that's why we call it making a day's pay. Oh, I was supposed to get out of the shot. Let me try that again. Make a day's pay and go away. Make a day's pay and go away. Right? I mean, I have an addiction problem and I have no life, so I sit here all day. The symposium continues to go. And if you've been trading in 2025, we've only had 4 boring days all year. When I say boring, where the market kind of slows down at around 11:15 and basically does nothing till like 3:30, 3:15. We've only had 4 of those days all year. This is the greatest market I've ever seen by far, but it's not just the plethora of activity. Sorry, not the plethora of opportunity. The plethora of activity is unfathomable. There's always something going on. And it's awesome. And usually, I'm old and I'm rip roaring from 8 o'clock in the morning till about 12:30. I tend to fade out. Not only do I fade out, I tend to pass out. Now I'm riveted by the action that's going on. As a matter of fact, hang on a second. No. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think, by the way, I just want to point out something. You see the market? It's red today. It's not. It's not red. It's an illusion, right? Until we break Tuesday's lows, this is all an illusion. Tuesday's lows now are generational lows, right? So if this market's ever going to actually go down again, it has to break a prior low sell-off low, which is now, if you go back on a 10-day chart, you'll see it clearly. 10 days, put 10 days on like an hourly, you'll see this. I like that. See, this is a trailing 10-day VWAP. That trailing 10-day VWAP was our prior generational low. That price is very significant. But now that we've double bottomed off that 603.08, those are new generational lows. So if this market's ever going to sell off, it has to break here. And it certainly has to break that level down there. And again, I think we do get one more sell-off this year, but it's these are the levels we're going to go. And it's going to hit these levels and it's going to bounce and it's going to rip your head off. But right now, you're starting to see some sellers, right? That short's still working for some of us. Not me, I'm out. But if we do sell off, and again, we're going to talk about this later today and tonight, if we get gaps that sell off, that's an indication of bearishness. Then you go check your friend UVXY. UVXY is green. So right now, you've got a reason to believe that the market will, I can't say this with a straight face, it'll stay down today. Right now, you're thinking that because the market's saying, hey, you know what, today, you dummy shorter, you got a chance for the market to stay down. And that's it. You got UVXY's green, market's below VWAP, we're at all-time highs. Some people think October's still a bad year. It's actually September is the worst year of the year. And generally, if we make it through September unscathed, usually October is really good, and November is good, and all those months are good. Now, I don't care about any of that. I trade what I see. And right now, what do you see? You see some weakness, right? Thank you. Now, and the reason I'm having this in-depth conversation to remind you of what we're trying to do, first of all, Delta Airlines short, right? A lot of you guys, like I said, I could have told you this trade worked every day, 27,000 trades in a row that have worked for profitability. What's the difference between 27,000, 1,000, or 300? Nothing. Because if today was your first day, you were like, show me. Show it to me. And it better work. And it did. I could drop the mic right now. Because we're just getting started, baby. This Delta, and this isn't even a reversal. This is just a fade. You got VWAP, blue line, orange line. So anyway, we'll talk more about some levels on the Qs because if we do sell off, it's going to happen like it happened today, where you gap up and you roll. Gaps that fade, that become reversals, usually in a normal market where we could go down every once in a while, would trigger more selling. We're seeing it here, right? Gaps that fail are bearish. Blue line to orange line. Can't stay above today's VWAP. Yeah. There's an indication that you could go lower today. But don't forget about shorting and all that being short-lived. But right now, you can entertain the fact that we're going to see 607.50 today. Why 607.50? Because generally, $610 stocks that break down search for the next big fat algorithmic number, which is 607.50. But in this case, it's 607.81 because that's prior day. That's 2 days worth of VWAP. And that's I just listen to what the algo tells me. So if we break the lows, we should go here. And if I even shouldn't say if, when you're wrong about being short the Qs, you're going to be forced to cover at the 610. And then that little wick right there, that's your out. And that's how you stay short if anybody's psychotic enough to think we could actually pull back more than 2.5 points. I do. I think there's going to be one more vicious sell-off this year, and that's going to be the buying opportunity that launches us off for the next probably November, December, January, February, March, all the way for the next 6 months. That's how I think it's going to play out. Stop right there. None of that matters. Sorry to have the conversation. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is I can't wait for more earnings reports to come out so I can play these fades. And next week, the reason we're preparing, and I want to make sure you know what I'm talking about for tonight. Tonight, we're getting together. It's a serious schmooze, right? we're going to be talking only charts, no guests. I'm going to be running the whole thing. Sal will probably be there. Get to know what we're doing, get to know this setup, get to know the VWAP levels. And then next week, we got banks coming out. And I got to tell you something. As much as I look forward to shorting Goldman Sachs or playing the fade, it was a choppy, nasty mess last quarter. Just letting you know. But when you trade VWAP, that chop and that mess, it's still telling you that you just got to be a little bit more patient. You got to wait for the trades to develop a little bit more. And we're going to go over the ones, what they look like last quarter, so we can prepare better for the ones that we're going to do. And so far, like I said, Delta Airlines is great. I'm glad that we start off with a win. We're 1 for 1. And really just a few trades today. It was Delta Airlines short, USAR short, USAR long, right? All on the same day, same stock. And basically Q short right now. I think you guys are still in them. Some of the guys, I know you guys hit a home run with TTRX. I can't believe it. Some of our members actually were holding the stock. You're insane. But they bought them yesterday at $7.50 at the VWAP break. They opened up the day. The stock said it's $50. It's just so sick. It's so sick. But listen, I'm entertaining the idea that you're going to get another dollar down on the Qs, right? Right now, everything's pointing to 607.50. And again, that's what we're doing here. Boring. It's boring, but you're making money. And Thursday is usually what we call a squadouche kind of day. Squadouche. Squadouche? Squadouche. It's spelled like you think. Squadouche. Squadouche. There's not much going on. Squadouche. So as a pseudo-professional trader, when there's squadouche going on, what are you supposed to be doing? Getting more active? No. You take the money that you made and you become more disciplined, more patient. The squadouche happening right now. You don't want to get chopped up. We already had a couple of winning trades. You don't got to keep pushing. Right? And if you're still shorting, your QQQ, that's really what we got going on right now. And there goes the only other trade that I did. I accidentally bought BTQ, thinking it was the material. I actually accidentally bought the stock. I thought it was the BTQ. I thought it was the VTQ, or I don't remember what the hell we're trading anymore because so many stocks going by. TMQ is the rare earth version. So here I was buying this thing, thinking I was buying that stock, but I bought it because it faux show broed. So I was buying it here, buying more here. I got paid, but then I realized I'm like, oh wow, I'm not even in the stock that I thought I was in. But meanwhile, that proves what I'm trying to tell you here. I just trade what I see. It could be LLL, QQQ, BTQ, DDD, doesn't matter. You give me a faux show, bro, VWAP break, I'm in. And now you got yourself a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal to the downside, right? I wish I was paying attention. I'd be crushing this thing right now in the short. And that's another example. But Kenny, I thought you said you liked the stock. I did for 20 minutes this morning. Now there's no reason to like it. You got yourself a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal to the downside. And by the way, just one more time with this QQQ short. You couldn't even get to the prior low. Right? I mean, it's virtually impossible to make money shorting the Qs. It really is. That's why you're almost to the point where you might as well not even try anymore. I have to keep trying because I want to be there for when we do actually pull back 12 or 15 points. I don't know when that's going to come. I really don't. And I'll tell you, I will get aggressive on my short one more time this year. I think I do think we're going to get one more sell-off, but it has to be below Tuesday's lows, which are now new generational lows. So while I got you here, another thing I wanted to make sure is we lost one of our members yesterday. He didn't die, no. He's like, you know what? This is a lot. And he wasn't ready. And anybody that does leave the room, I immediately email them because I want some feedback. And I got the most wonderful feedback ever. It doesn't have to be some sort of, argumentative moment or I just wanted to know. I was like, hey man, I noticed you only stayed for 3 days. What's going on? He's like, bro, I'm loving what you're doing. And I see those trades that are working. But I'm not there to take advantage of that order entry because it seems like you got to be quick on those trades. And he's like, I don't know if this is for me. And I was like, well, it seems fast and seems quick if that was your day, your third day here. But when you start to notice that's the same trade over and over again, it'll become slower, just like the sports analogy where the ball looks like it's coming slow to the professional hitter when he's on fire. Once you get it, there's only 3 or 4 things a stock could do: dip, rip, roll, hold VWAP and faux show bro, or break VWAP, break new high, roll over, finger of God, back below VWAP. It's the same stuff every day. The names of the stock change, and quite often it's the same stock over and over again, like USAR. I don't think there's been a day we haven't traded the stock in over 6 months, like open, right? By the way, stop what you're doing, right? You know the stock's going to rally at some point today, right? This stock has been awesome. It's been great to short, but quite often it comes back. So you see, and again, I'm glad I'm caught this one right here. You see how it's kind of triple bottom right there? No reason to buy it, right? But the VWAP's coming down. If the VWAP becomes the 832, and then you see it come out of this bottom range, fake them out, shake them out, and then it starts to break there in the VWAP, that's when you buy it. So I always got an eye on this stock because it notoriously rips. But right now, it's not much going on. Some of us are still short the Qs. That's really all we got. Delta Airlines is in the bag already. And if you have any questions, now would be a great time to ask. Because hey, what's up? SPACs are back? Yeah. All right, so now, while we got some moment here, right? There's a guy. I don't know if you're joking with me. I still don't know if it's a joke on me or if you're playing a joke. I don't know. Is the guy that criticizes me about saying the market never goes down back on the videos? Hello. Because I know that guy was pissed, right? You're pissed that I was right, right? I know. You hate me so much. You hate the fact that I'm right. I hate that I'm right too. I like when markets crash. It's a lot of fun. And then again, I like it when they crash because it sets up opportunities for long trades. I'm not a bear with, a delusional bear. I know the market bounces all the time. But I like when it crashes because we can make money on those days. And then we pick up this, when it turns and the shorts. Yeah, Joe Just Joe. What's the story? Yeah. How come I can't see him on the video? Joe, you out there? Wow, I have a meeting called. What is that? Oh, that's right. I gotta go. I gotta cut this off. I got a meeting with Stevie Van Zandt in 5 minutes. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Yeah, that's Steven Van Zandt. Yeah, he's part of our charity. So we got a little Zoom meeting with Stevie. I got a boogie actually right. I gotta go in 3 minutes. But yeah, talk to me about this guy. Where do you see him posting stuff? I don't see him. So do I have to? Because I thought you were dead, bro. The silver gay guy, silver gay guy, or gay for silver. He told me that you died. Yeah. Well, it's good to see you're still alive. Hope you stayed long in the queues this whole time. All right, hang on a second. I just lost the chat room. Shit. There you go. What do I think about snow? You mean cocaine? Don't do it. It smells like burnt hairs and broken dreams, and it ruins relationships and father and sons and families. Oh, not that snow? I don't know. I don't watch snow. I could give you an opinion in a second. Hang on, I gotta load something up here. We do need a password to the schmooze. I can't give it to you here. If Joe's watching, we can't have Joe sneaking into the schmooze now. All right, hang on tighter. Oh, so he's really not here? Damn. Oh, there he is. Oh, wait. Joe, you're shorting USAR? Let me know when. Let me know when and when you cover. So that is Joe. So he likes to try to pretend he's taking the other sides of trades. Right. So that means you're short at 20, bro. We're bought it at 20. So you're short at 20. How's that working out for you? Oh, by the way, we could stop right now. You've been talking about you're shorting the Qs since 68 bucks. How's that working out for you? You're one of those guys that talks about legging in. You're right. You're legging into your short, right? Right. Yeah, you're legging in, right? You're getting a feel for that short, right? For over the last 12 years. How's that working out for you? Good stuff. It is this guy. That's funny. I think I just saw you. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, by the way, Joe, I also said you could bet against New York sports teams and make money. Yeah. Guess what happened last night? That's right. Cha-ching. Yankees lose. We win again. If you bet consistently against New York sports, right? You'll never lose. Right? By the way, Joe, that's called a trend. I'm 53 years old. I've been betting against the Jets since I was in the 6th grade. Remember football sheets? I used to work for a bookie. You want to back test that? You want to back test it, Joe? Yeah. We're 5 for 5 also for on the year already. Yeah, we're trading VWAP to VWAP, baby. That's exactly what we're doing. VWAP to VWAP, right? So that Delta Airlines, it's called reversion, right? So when you get today's VWAP, it begins as a fade. We're just shorting stocks that are gapped up, right? And then the confirmation was this rollover, and then it broke down. Now, in this market, this trade hasn't really been getting too much follow through because we don't go down. But VWAP break, low of the day break, I had to give it a shot with my stop at the VWAP. So, assuming I was going to be wrong, I had to put the trade on because it's doing what I want to see it do. I thought I was going to be wrong right there, but I'm giving VWAP as my out and my target's prior day VWAP. And so far, so good. Yeah, wish moves in. Call me, email me. Yeah, email me. Well, and also the best thing to do is be a part of what we're doing live. So then you know exactly what we're doing. Like, that's why I can't reiterate USAR anymore than I have already had. This stock was a short yesterday, and then it became a long later. It was a short for 3 whopping minutes this morning. I was short, and then I went long. Covered and went long because VWAP is my master. And by the way, here, I'm going to show you something. See this stupid stock that's become impossible to trade, FOFO? See how there's no volume on it? But even these dumb stocks, when they break VWAP, they tend to go up. You want to see that TTRX yesterday? This all started with a VWAP break. And I didn't do the trade, but because that's what we train to do, an IPO came out, bleeding to death. Nobody wants it. Suddenly breaks VWAP. A couple of traders in here bought it, and wham, it only goes up 100%. It goes from 750 to 15. And then they decided to hold some overnight and woke up to that. I mean, this is insanity. And it all started with a little VWAP break right there at $7. The stock opens at 50 this morning. Just wild. Wild time to be alive. Wild time to be a trader. And also, if you are a shorter like I am, playing fades and all that kind of stuff, just remind yourself every time you're short, it's not going to last. That Newegg was the last good short of the year. Newegg and Oracle were the two best shorts of the year. You might even know about this Newegg trade, but here. You get a stock that goes from 3 to 135. I'm going to wait a couple of days for my right time to strike, because chances are that stock's going to give back at least 60 or 70 points. And it did. Oracle was my favorite short because it had already had this monstrous move, and then it gapped up another 80 points. So I thought, this thing's going to pull back at least 30 or 40, and it pulled back about 70. Not a bad short. But everything else, and by the way, that short's over. The Q short's over. You just don't stay short stocks, right? By the way, these are Qs. I mean, just unbelievable. This uptrend still intact. These tiny pullbacks don't even break the trend. So, before I leave, I'll just talk my book one more time. We sold some today. We bought it at 13, sold some at 20. Stock's going to 100. No joke, right? This looks pretty parabolic, but until it breaks 1750, I got to stick with it. We bought it under 13, so I bought it over 13. 15 got you 1750. 1750 gets you 20. Now that you broke 20, you got to be thinking 2250 and then 30. So you raise your stop to 1750. That's how I swing trade. I don't look at the order book anymore. No, I just look at the price action, and I only use price. I use very specific prices too. I use the bottoms and tops of candlesticks, and if there's a VWAP around it, that is my target. So like the Delta Airlines trade, I knew exactly what I was covering. But on the way there, I covered at 60 because I cover at big fat whole numbers. And then 59.50, we covered some. Still expecting to get paid all the way down to where it went. And then not a coincidence that decent stocks, yeah, they'll pull back. But when they hold prior day VWAP and then test it from on top, short's over. So somebody said, hey, should I go long? I'm like, yeah, if you want. You got a very defined trade. I'm not flipping the script. I'm happy the short worked. But the long trader said, hey, I'll take a shot and go long if that you say that's the bottom. And that person who bought it at 59 and a quarter with 30 cents of risk got paid $1 and change. So not a bad trade. All right, I got a boogie. I'm gonna go hang out with Don. Hey, how you doing, Don? I'll say hello to Steven Van Zandt for you. We'll get him on the schmooze one of these days. Yes, that's Steven Van Zandt. Going to hang. All right, I'll see you guys tonight. If you guys email me for the schmooze, KennyGlick@AOL.com. I'll get to those emails. If you're crazy enough to still want to try to work for me, we'll go over those parameters again tonight. And yeah, cheers. I'll see you guys later. Kenny Glick, AOL.com.